how to understand bias and narrative. In this video, I'm going to go over both those two things. So it's going to be a longer video, but I think it's going to be very good and informative. And like I said, I'm going to show you the pretty much a trade recap of me using this in real time. If you go back in the channel, you can see that as well. If you don't know who I am, your boy is KJ. I am one of the most resilient day traders in YouTube, and we're going to see what we found while I'm looking at narrative and biases in together. So first thing you need to understand what a bias and narrative. Bias is, are we going up and down? Do you think we're going up or down, sell or buy for the day? Narrative is how we're going to do that. So just in case we're going up, how do we do that? Do we look for fair value gaps in intraday? Are we looking for liquidity to be swept, and then we're looking for that target as highs and lows? So in this case, I'm going to use an example of me waiting for my bias and narrative to align, and therefore it led me to take a trade, but I had to be patient. First thing I'm looking for bias. For me, I go from the daily. So looking at daily, I'm looking for, in this case, I'm going to use anything that is intraday at my level. So if it's come to the daily charts, see that we're here at this right here, I'm looking to my left immediately. Fair value gap right here, I'll draw that out. I'll probably draw consequent encouragement out for this. So CE up here. So I'll mark this out, literally. Watch me do this in real time because this is what I did. Daily high FG. Then I would write daily high, daily low, FEG, right? That's what I would write, and now I'll also put kind of encouragement. I'm not gonna do it, but you can see what I'm going with daily. And then any order blocks. In this case, I would draw this order block if I was at that price level. I was looking for that. The second thing that I would do, the biggest thing is, for me personally, is I would draw this fair value gap as well. By the way, I'm looking at it right now, but I don't want to dive into the weeds because I don't make this video too long. Fair value gaps, I would draw them out on daily. Looking at order blocks, and the second thing that I would be looking for is new wick opening gaps. So I'm gonna go to 15 minute, and you will see that we got new wick opening gaps on my. I already have them on my charts. I have an indicator that shows my new wick opening gaps right here. So if I take this off, you can see that's my new week opening gaps and my new day opening gaps. Those are draws of liquidity that we will start spooling to. So this is basically pockets of price where we stop trading at, and you will see that we start trending or going for those highs and lows a lot of this time. Oh, highs and lows was the price area where we have nice reactions, and we'll start like trending that way, or we'll try to go towards that way. In this case, if I take this off real quick, I'll keep it on. I went to, this is another trick you can do, is turn regular trading hours on, and this will immediately show you some new day opening gaps and your new week opening gaps. So again, this shows you new day opening gap, new week opening gap, new day opening gap, which is current, right, which is 9:30's opening, and from last time we trading for new week opening gap, for RTH, real time trading right here. You will see that we have a new week opening gap that this is going to be very important. So this is the new week opening gap I actually was targeting in the video and that's talked about and everything like that. So I'm just going to draw those points out. I even mark them out, I guess. New week opening gap. Guys, I don't make this video too long. I'm trying to show you the process what I do if I was, looking for the day. New week opening gap, going for here, right? So go to I'm going to take the regular trading arrows off. I see that we are seeing a new day opening gap, but let's take this off. Go back to electronic arrows. All right. So go to the 1 minute. Last thing I will say, let me stay on the 15 minute. The biggest thing that I was bearish for this today is because we was aiming for this new week opening gap. That's it. I was aiming for this new week opening gap. In my brain, I was thinking at this real time, we was traded below this daily fair value gap, right? We traded below that. So since we trade below that at real time, I'm thinking like, okay, we trade below that. We're below new daily fair value gap. And I'm looking for us to go lower to this new week opening gap, this old new week opening gap, because I think prices go there. I also saw that this could be used as a mitigation block right here. It's like a bigger breaker, but in my opinion, I'm looking at it. I'm like, if price does go higher, which I'm expecting it was, I can see some hesitating lower and if it does go lower here. And this is what I was drawing out because this price action has already been filled in. We already went up and down, so this is already balanced. So we're gonna have a hard time going back into this range because we already have price fixed in here. Like everything is balanced in here. So I'm looking at it from a fractal standpoint. I'm not looking for us to go all the way high up here. I'm looking at this like we already balanced this out. So I'm just looking in the context of this area right here, see what lies in here and see what kind of price actions we do, price reactions. So go to the 1 minute. So that is telling you my bias. My bias is we go lower. Point blank period. New daily fair value gap, right? And I'm expecting us to go lower. All right, as I'm expecting it goes lower, this is where you're looking for narrative. Narrative for me is I need some liquidity to be taken, and then I will look for us to get up a low or a high. In this case, I'm looking for us to take a higher high. So in this case, I'm looking for this. This is literally what I'm looking for. Since I'm looking for lower prices, I'm looking for us to do this. Take out a high, then trade down. That is literally it. Right? I would like for this to be like an A+ setup. This is an A+ setup for me. For us to have a high or place a high, right? Trade a high, and then we take that high, and then come back into the range. That tells me we have a liquidity sweep in the opposite direction. We place the high, and then I'm looking to get in somewhere up in here. Looking to target this, and then leave runners to extending. That's literally it. Let's talk about it. So that's my narrative. That's my narrative. My bias is we go lower. My narrative is I'm looking for this type of price action to send us lower. This is a prime example, right? I literally took this. I talk about the trade and like that. I literally took this 5-minute fair value gap on the higher time frame. We reacted in the 5-minute fair value gap. I saw that we placed this high right here. We manipulated, take the high, and we immediately come back to the range. This is that. This is quite literally this. Got in. Took a partial right there. Excuse me, I didn't trade like that. Did this. Took a partial right there. And I had a runner going to what? New week opening gap. Because this is what I was targeting. Had 2 contracts. Took off one right here. Other one got stopped in profit. What do we do? Do we change bias? Do we do everything like that? Me personally, it takes me a lot more to change biases than just us taking and start shooting up. I did absolutely nothing during this price action. This is very important. I didn't take another sell. I didn't do anything. I just sat on my hands and looked. This is when I saw. I said, okay, this could be that high that I was talking about being manipulated and see if we go lower. Nope. Why we didn't go lower? Because we didn't displace the fair value gap. We didn't do anything. Right? We got to be patient. And this is where I'm talking about. And when people talk about biases, you also need to talk about narrative. As in, my bias was lower. I think we still go new work on the gap. And I'm now waiting for the narrative to line up with my bias. And that didn't happen the first 10 minutes. It didn't happen in the first hour. It happened around the idea sort of played out in the 1050 macro, which I was able to take a trade. But it's the same process. Remember I told you, I'm looking for lower prices. That has not changed. Looking for something like that. I could draw a little better, but there we go. So we got a little consolidation. We put in the high. We take out the high. And then I want to see the reaction of the high. Like we're getting back into this range, right? So I was a little bit hesitant on this. I was like, this wasn't as clean as possible. I thought it wasn't as clean on this right here. I saw that remember what this is on the 15-minute. Remember, this is that mitigation block. So I'm looking like maybe this is the rotation lower, right? Maybe this is the rotation on high time frame. And now I'm looking at this, and we took this high. We placed it high. We shot all the way back up, and look at this reaction we have. Boom. This is a reaction. I remember we were talking about consolidation. Consolidate. We took out the high one more time. Basically, it looks just like this. It's a little different. Just a tad bit different. Not too much though. We just really took the high, kept the high intact, but kept this. Took these people out of the trade, and then we started coming back into the range. If this was bullish, we should not, or if it was more bullish, but we shouldn't. We have a strong possibility of we should not leave this as a breakaway gap and just start shooting up. The fact that we're coming back, trending back into that, tells me that this is a possible good trade. What I do? Come in here, trade, stop loss right there. Took 2 contracts off right there. Right? That's a trade. Took 2 contracts off right there to fill this back in. Guess what I was aiming for? Down here. Coming back down to the new week opening gap. Guess what happened? Got stopped. So the other contract got stopped in profit because we went back up. A-okay. Notice in my shots, I call them shots, but I'm thinking of bullets or something like that. But like my shots are always towards that new week, that my bias. I'm waiting for narrative to line up for that. And in this case, my narrative didn't play out until almost PM session into the lunch macro. I had the bias of us going to the new week open the gap towards the new week open the gap at 950. My bias didn't start playing out, or my narrative. No, my bias was that. So my narrative didn't start playing out until PM session or a lunch macro. And again, I'll show you can literally take in the trades. You can go back and look on the channel. I literally talked about how I took this trade and everything like that. And I would left runners, all the good stuff, but I didn't have enough contracts on there. But literally the same thing. In the mitigation block, what we doing? We consolidate. Consolidate. Same thing. That high has been placed. We then take the high out, right? Which is somewhat like say it's consolidating, right? And then we take that high out. That's that. So this, I guess, this need to be higher right there. So we place like one more high. Draw this bear because that's irritating me. So we consolidate, 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 consolidate. Place a smaller one, and then boom. Then we'll come back into the range, right? So that's that right there. This is this. But the idea is we consolidate it, and we need to take a high. We need to manipulate a high. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for, manipulation. If I'm looking for lower prices, I want us to place a high and then take out the high and come back into the range. That's it. And then vice versa if I was bullish. In this case, we get that. We place a high. We start, guess what we're doing with this? And ideally, if this was bullish, we should be leaving this as a breakaway gap because prices are already balanced. What's the point of us? We already went up, we went down, we went back up. Level for value gap, we should be trending up if we was bullish. In this case, again, I feel like my bias is playing out. Took a sell right here. Right here, going for a sell. Same thing, exact same thing. What did we do? Had 3 contracts on here. Took one off right here. Took one off right here. Then left a runner for these equal lows. So the trade was like that. I also will have left another runner to go for what? The new week open the gap. So somewhere up in here. Because remember, on the higher time frame, I'm looking for this to be hit. New week open the gap. Going towards that new week open the gap. I just use intraday setups, which in this case, my narrative is that consolidation, manipulation. And then I'm looking to my left, okay, what can we target? Equal lows, fair value gaps. In this case, rebalance of this price range, right? This is what we're just looking at, bringing all the tools out of the toolbox, whatever fits you. So like this could be reached. I didn't even, my mind kind of saw this already because we haven't rebalanced price, but you could think from this swing, your reason for us to go lower, it could be us to rebalance this price range. It's so many different things that it can be that you can go ahead and trade or be able to think of like, well, this is the reason we go down up. It is more of like I'm paying attention to bias and also paying attention to narrative. Just because I got a bias is going down, I have to wait for the price action to show me. That's the biggest thing. Show me that, okay, this is now tipping its hand to show me that we are going to these lows or these highs or whatever the case be. From a bias standpoint, again, I'm just looking for a new week open the gaps. In this case, we hit a mitigation or breaker block on the high time frame. Then I was looking for reaction. 1 hour fair value gaps, looking for anything like that. If I go to the 1 hour, I think it was in the 1 hour fair value gap. See, look at that. Some people could have took this sell because they was in the 1 hour fair value gap. I kind of took the sell as not only I was kind of looking at was in the 1 hour fair value gap, but also looking that we hit this breaker and I knew this price already been full. Like we already been back and forth. So I don't think we're gonna hit this today. So that was my reasoning, right? So I think more of a bias can be, it's not loose, but more we can take the same setup for different reasons, right? For biases. Some people might not have known this is a new week open the gap right here. Some people might have saw these 2 lows right here. Like I said, it's just different things of a nature of like which it's more focusing on what your bias is and sticking to that more of less than me and your biases have to be the same. As long as you understand, like we have a good idea of one of the 3 things. If it's new week open the gap, you want to rebalance price, or you want to go for the equal lows. Just wait for narrative to define that bias. Either way it goes, whether you think we're gonna hit here, you think was gonna hit new wick open the gap, you think it's gonna come back to this daily fair value gap, that could be one. We in the daily fair value gap, and then you think we'll hit the low end of that daily fair value gap, that could be a narrative. the biggest thing is you waiting for price and narrative to kind of line up. And that's my biggest thing. Is like, because if we go down here, but if you taking, I don't know, you taking sales, are you taking sales like this, right? Or something like that, I don't know, taking sales like that, then it doesn't even matter that we thought it was going down. We're not waiting for price, or we're not getting in the right time, all that good stuff. So just waiting for that time and that narrative to kind of line up. And in this case, was a perfect example of being patient and waiting for that to actually happen. Talking about how this is the sell side of the curve, and then waiting for that to react and go down lower. So that was just like I said. I think that was kind of quick overview. I don't want to make this video like 20-minute, 30-minute video. I think that just kind of gives you a breakdown, like looking at narrative versus bias, and then waiting for that manipulation. Or in my case, I'm looking for manipulation, going towards that draw of liquidity. And like I said, daily fair value gaps, daily order blocks, new week opening gaps, new day opening gaps. Usually are going to be my draws. I saw that it was below midnight. I mean, in this case, it didn't really help me in this light. But that's another narrative some people you can use as well. Like, hey, if we're above or below midnight. Like I said, my biggest thing is looking at the narrative, understanding why we should be going down up and when we should be going down up. And yeah, I hope that